Ifiemi Andrew, and now we discuss development and politics on the Morning Crossfire. And today, well, you might want to describe this as politics, but I'm pretty sure there are many that would look at it as development, not in a very positive note to many Nigerians, but I'm pretty sure to those it may concern, it's a step in the right direction. Now, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission has hinted at plans that it will review the salaries of political office holders in the country. It says what they are currently getting as basic salary is inadequate, unrealistic, and it is outdated, especially when you put it side by side with the rising responsibilities and economic challenges that political office holders have to face every single day. The last time there was a review was in 2008, and since that time till now, it has remained unchanged. It was the chairman of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation Fiscal Commission, Mohammed Shehu, who was speaking in Abuja, that said, well, the president currently earns 1.5 million naira monthly, while ministers receive less than a million naira monthly. So before I go any further, I'd like us to listen to something from Shehu Sani, who was a senator. Remember, he was one that came under serious attack, and some people still felt like he got into the blacklist of members of the National Assembly because of the revelations he made. Now, this conversation was sometime last year, and this was what he had to say about the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, as well as how much he was getting at the time. He said 21 million naira was paid, is being paid to 7 senators monthly. He said he got 13 million naira during his time. Let's
Mobilization and Physical Allocation Commission. We are just dealing with fixed. We are specific in saying this is the salary affairs and apprehensions in terms of telling the truth when they know what is actually happening. While before I come to this interview, I was going through the papers and I saw this statement credited to one of the senators from Kano, distinguished Senator Kawu Smiler, who confirmed what I said, that the senators, particularly receiving naira monthly. During my time, I was in the Senate, and I was pricked by my conscience as an activist who went to the Senate to unveil what has been made secret for over 2 decades.
All right, so that's Shehu Sani there telling you that, well, for him, the figures that was put out were misleading, and he received 13.5 million naira monthly. That was in 2017. Now, 13.5 million naira, if you look at the books, it might not be the salary according to the books. That's not the basic salary according to the books. Again, off the books, that might be what they get as salary. I wouldn't know. But if you look at the books, it's not the basic salary. Now, and that you can also back up by comments that came from the chairman of the Fiscal Commission, where he said, well, the president still earns a little over a million, while senators earn less than that as basic salary. Now, the conversation around basic salary is not the problem because, well, for basic salary, you know that this is what it is. In fact, for governors, I'm pretty sure it's even lower than that. They have about 800,000 or 600,000, 700,000, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just video about several times. I've met a lot of the times. Now, they are getting huge allowance that out their basic salary being not efficient. When you even look at the fact that what they are getting as basic salary is way more than what any civil servant is getting as basic salary. Now, when they even leave office, there is a pension package plan. Governors, Senate presidents, and lawmakers, presently, we ground that these people benefit because they occupied public one time, and these run into millions. So if you look at, let me even start with governors. For governors, former governors, Rivers and Lagos State are said to be most lucrative. And this was officially signed by the Amechi administration. I've touched on this a lot of the times. Former presidents also have packages. In fact, in 2024, it was said that about 2 point something billion was earmarked in the budget for just to maintain former presidents and vice presidents. That's to tell you how much that's spent on these public office holders. So the question many people now worry about is, why would they want to say now that they need more money for their basic salary when they aren't telling Nigerians the whole truth about what their total package is, especially as it concerns allowances? They have house allowance, they have security allowance, they have furniture allowance. In some states like Lagos and others, furniture allowance is 300% of the annual basic salary, which could be running into about 6 to 7 million. As furniture allowance. They have medical expenses. Laws in states like Akwa Ibom have set specific cap for medical expenses for former governors and their spouses. But in Rivers State, it is the governor, there's no cap. The governor and family members, and there's no specific number of how many family members. Similar situation in Lagos State. You're ever entitled to a house in your state or anywhere else in Abuja or your choice. And there's vehicle allowance. For a typical civil servant, that salary you are taking home as a typical civil servant, in that salary, it lies your transport allowance, lies your housing allowance, lies your meal subsidy, lies your utility allowance. In that small, if you are a grade 1, a grade 0, a 1 staff, that's the entry level, and you are being paid, for instance, 85,000 naira in Rivers State, right? What it means is from that 85,000 naira, you have your transport allowance, your housing allowance, your meal subsidy, your utility allowance. I don't know about if they even pay leave grants. I don't know if they do. Hardship allowance is also in difficult terrains, difficult locations because of economic. I don't know if that tell us. But in that way, then tell me this: if it's an office, was he paid 85 based on first? That's another big. That brings us to many more questions, like should political office holders be paid in the same structure as civil servants? Because when you think about it, they too are civil servants for a period of time. Should they be paid in similar fashion? How much is ideal to be the basic salary of a governor or a president or a lawmaker, and so on and so forth? Well, in the course of our conversation, we would hear from the NLC National Deputy Secretary General on the show. But before we go there, let's go to the phone lines and get your thoughts and response to this question. What do you think should be the ideal salary for a president, a governor, lawmakers, Senate president, name it, any political office holder? What should be the ideal salary for them? Should they be also paid the same way civil servants are paid? And if you're a civil servant, please, I'd like to know if you get special car maintenance allowance. For former governors, you're entitled to about 3 cars that they change every 4 years, according to that act. I think every 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. You are entitled to, and that's about you also that the furniture allowance. Furniture allowance is like 300% of your annual salary. You also have personal aid allowance. You have security allowance. You have entertainment allowance. This is outside your basic salary. Remember, as a former governor, former president, or whatsoever, if now they review this salary upward, it simply means that, for instance, former transportation minister would be earning the same amount of money that the governor that is serving is earning. Former governor, the FCT minister now, will be earning the same amount as the governor is earning. Meanwhile, they also are occupying offices at the moment when they are still receiving salaries. 0817-923-0007. Fayoshe would be receiving the same. Fashola would be receiving the same. They also have the right to have choice houses in certain areas in the country. All of these are covered in their package as former governors. So what do you make of this structure? Should they be treated or paid as civil servants, no regular civil servants, or what do you suggest should be the cap for their salary? Good morning, 0817-923-0002 or 0817-923-0007. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Hello, good morning.
All right, good morning to you.
My name is Muriel, the Africa woman.
All right, Muriel, go on.
Ifiemi, you see, this matter of salary increase is not. It's not only this is inciting. It is fight. There's a kind of violence is inciting in the hearts of many Nigerians. So it's provocative, and I think it's even criminal. Especially their pension is a criminal against Nigerians. Now, what they're trying to tell us is that the economy is hard on them. So as much as they have increased the minimum wage, wage and civil servants, theirs should be raised as well. Just lies upon lies, presenting Nigerians with fake amounts, fake figures, that this is what they are earning. Meanwhile, the reverse is it's unbelievable what they are earning. Well, what do we do when we have leaders that don't have compassion, empathy at all? If they have any, for me, I think if they have any opportunity to just run the country, like all the crude, underneath us, if they have opportunity to just allocate it to themselves and their future generations, they will, and just leave us like that. So let them go ahead. I encourage them and eat as much. For me, I think it's like there's a spirit behind it, that no matter how much they get, the trillions they have, majority of them are trillionaires. In fact, it's as if they have nothing. I think there's a spirit behind it. There's a demonic spirit behind this, something that is controlled. They don't get satisfied at all, no matter what they have. So let them go ahead and raise to any level they want. After all, they don't even seek our permission. They just tell us. But before you know, they implement it. They're not speaking up, but they're just letting us know that this is what they want to do. And before you know, they go ahead and do it. We don't permit it. Thank you.
All right, Muriel. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Emeka, calling from Ilela Aluminum.
All right, Emeka.
My dear brother, this is where we find ourselves. We are the politicians. They are only interested in enriching themselves. But if I want to ask you, increase their salary.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that as a governor, as a local government chairman, they have what we call security vote.
Mm-hmm.
There is a security vote in a River State now. The security vote of the least local government chairman is between 20 million. That money is their own. And they're not using it for anything. It is their own on their own pocket. Doesn't mean they don't have conscience that you now increase salary. Do you know that as a senator, newspaper allowance is 53,000 every week? Only senator. And they have what we call constituency project for senators every year, 250 million. House of Rep, 200 million. So what are they using the money for? What would they use the salary for? They should please now pity Nigerians. Pity Nigerians. Look at our civil servants. A principal that has served for many years cannot build 3-bedroom flat on his own, not in the township. Some principals, some civil servants are on rentage up to 70 years of age. They have put in so much in the society, but no way. What of our security men? Where a police officer will serve for 35 years, he will go home with 2 million naira. Assuming the police officer is having in Lagos, only a drop with his family to Nasarawa or to Gombe. He's not to that 2 million naira. We are on a crossroad. They should please rethink.
All right.
Thank you and God bless you.
Lepele from Woji, good morning.
Good morning, my own brother, Mr. Andrew.
Good morning to you.
I told you yesterday that I look at, because we are discussing for development, and development is all about economic development of the country. And I said, I look at all the theories in economics, and I arrive at economic development is a function of the positive relationship of the units of economy and the component of economies. which implies that all the units of economies, government, individuals, and defense must act in a way that all the components of economies, which includes production, distribution, and consumption, to give us a positive result. That means that the government is a unit, and the way they are behaving is not a way that will help the economy of Nigeria. For instance, you don't look at an economy that is not doing well, and you want to take a greater percentage to furnish a minute number of the population. It's wrong. And this is why Nigeria is not doing well. Sanusi once told us that 25% of the budget of this country goes for these few people in the National Assembly. How is our production? So it is very insensitive at this point in time for these men to be sitting there and be doing this kind of thing. Like Miriam said, that it is very exciting. Are you getting it? We can't be sitting there watching them do this kind of thing. If you remove crude oil from Nigeria, how are we going to fare? Mr. Andrew, let me tell you that the GDP of Nigeria is not what the National Assembly, is not what the federal government is using. They are using the national economy, which is the productive activity of all Nigeria, here and outside. But if we use what we are producing here, we cannot even eat. So what the money that is emanating from the oil, they share it among themselves. We will not fail to say it. They are not doing anything that will help us. Let them try to more. One day, like I said, according to Karma, when the means of production is being controlled by one man, because if we sum up them there, if they are just one person doing all this thing.
All right, Pele.
If Tinubu says no, they can come and say they want to. How much is the salary of an average civil servant? Like you were saying. If we look at 85,000 naira, cannot even buy a bag of rice. It is a negative relationship of the government.
All right, Lepele, thank you very much. We have to interrupt you here because we have a commercial to go for. Chima and Rumokuta, you'd also have to call us back just after the commercial. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. When we return, we'll speak with my guest from the NLC. Good morning.
Greater Evangelism World Crusade and
right, Nigerian folk, good morning. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. The conversation continues here on the Morning Crossfire, and we are looking at the plans by the Fiscal Commission to review salaries of political office holders. And in that news, a lot of reactions have been coming up, and I told us that we would get in touch with the NLC and find out what their thoughts are on this. In the meantime, let's go to the phone lines first. 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0002 are the numbers that you can call to be a part of the conversation this morning, and let us know, should political office holders All right. Hello, Mr. Chris. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, you're on Nigeria Info. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, it's good to be here once again.
All right. Quickly, we had to just get you in quickly. For those who are listening, Mr. Chris is the National Assistant Secretary General of the NLC, and he would be sharing the position of the NLC, or his position or thoughts about the plan to review the salaries of political office holders. So I'm sure you are familiar with the news. Let us know what the NLC thinks about it.
Our position has been made clear earlier, and we've been interviewed by several media organizations, and we've made our position very clear that this is very, very insensitive. It is morally wrong for you to seek to increase the salaries and wages of political office holders who are already swimming in abundance. Because it is not actually the basic salary that is a problem. What the problem to us that increases the cost of governance in Nigeria is the allowances that they take. The humongous allowances. When we are told how Federal House of Representative members are rewarded with 70 million naira every month, and then members of the Senate with about 30 million naira. And that is in a country where minimum wage is 70,000 naira, where it took battles for them to increase minimum wage to 70,000. And when that same minimum wage is not being implemented as it should be across the federation, so it becomes reprehensible morally for anybody to contemplate such increase at this time. Moreover, we have said something that is very, very clear. For an economy that wants to win its nation from the marriage, for a nation that says it is fiscally insufficient, okay? So now embark on spending such humongous amounts of salary on political office holders at the detriment of Nigerian workers and Nigerian citizens. That is wrong. Because when you increase the salaries of political office holders, what you are doing is that when they get this money, what do? They travel more abroad, they spend more abroad, they embark on all manners of frivolity abroad. Because what you are throwing to them is an addition for them to do all of those things that are not productive. But when the wages of workers are increased, they don't go abroad. They don't go abroad. They buy things locally, they invest locally, they do things locally. And that is why we say that we are not per se against salary or wage review. That is something that must be done. But it should not be put into people who are already swimming in abundance. When you make such increase, you find out that such people will not invest in the domestic
So clarify for us, because you have said that the major problem is the humongous allowances, which a lot of people agree, and you would find those allowances even in their pension packages. But clarify for us, for the average civil servants who earn 70,000 naira minimum wage, does that 70,000 sum up sum include their own allowances? Because we know that they have transport allowance, house allowance, and so on and so on and so forth. All of these allowances are put in that 70,000 naira.
My brother, that is the crisis of understanding what the minimum wage ought to be. The minimum wage ought to be the basic, meaning that it's supposed to be interpreted as 70,000 being the basic salary. But you find out that out of mischief, serious mischief, or out of probably trying to undermine the workers or Nigerians who they think are helpless, most of the state governors, especially, seek to implement it at the level of consolidated salary. And that is wickedness, it's sheer wickedness. And so you find out that you still find workers who are earning far less than 30,000 naira. And then in some states, some workers are earning less than 30,000 naira every month. In fact, in some there is a state, especially Zamfara state, workers are earning 18,000 naira every month. And when you want to engage these people, they will make propaganda will rise everywhere, and they will call NLC names and all of those parties political. I don't understand what is political about defending the rights of workers and implementing agreements that have been reached. I don't understand that. So my brother, the 70,000 naira is on basic, and then other allowances comes on top of it. But you find out that most of the time these allowances are paltry. Transport allowance for workers, how much? Medical allowance for workers, how much? At the end of the day, it doesn't add too much wherever it's implemented.
Okay. And then before we let you go,
that is not being implemented.
Okay, before we let you go, then okay, you talked about. Let me just add this: leave allowance is supposed. Civil servants are supposed to get leave allowance. Do they get it?
Yes.
Hello.
Every worker in Nigeria is entitled to a leave allowance.
Okay. All right. And then quickly, before we let you go, what would you then say? What would Labour look at as ideal payment structure for public office holders, or should political office holders also be their payment structure? Should it be similar to what civil servants have?
Yeah, they are. The public office holders are product of the civil service. So we add to the national minimum wage, national structure. They should also receive the national minimum wage the way it is tied. So I would not see why a ward chairman, for example, a local government chairman should be earning more than a professor in a Nigerian university. That is wrong. I do not see why a governor. I do not see why a governor should actually earn better than a direct in the civil service. I think the salary should be at par, at half of their professions. So that is the way it should be, and that is what if you tie their salary to the civil service structure, to the civil service salary and wages structure, you find out that all this rubbish about increasing their salary, salary and their allowance, remember, because it's in their allowance. So if you tie them together and make them, you synchronize them with the civil service structure, you find out that all this abuse over salaries and wages will reduce.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chris Onyekachi. We'll just allow you go on with your day, but thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll go back to the phone lines now and get your thoughts. You heard from the NLC Assistant National Secretary General. Well, they should be under the same salary structure as civil servants because, I mean, that's what they are doing. They're also civil servants for the time that they are in that office. And so their payment should be in that manner. And you begin to ask, what are the indices used to measure the criteria to determine how much should be the allowance or the salary of a lawmaker, a governor, or a president? Let's use Rivers State, for instance. That pension package for former governors. What was the criteria used to determine the figures that was put in there? What was the criteria to determine that because you were a former governor, it means you should be entitled to 2 houses in any choice area, or because you are a former governor, you should be entitled to a certain amount of money for your health, or the state, because you serve the state should take care of you and the health of your family members uncapped. The civil servants can also make the same argument because they are serving the state, giving 30-something years of their lives to a state, and at the end of the day, even their pension they can't get. They can't access it. The pension is not even your money you are giving to them, it's their money that they contributed. They can't even get it. So how do we justify these things? 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0002. Blessed from Alu, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Ifiemi Andrew.
Go on, Blessed.
Pertaining the salary of governors, of salary, so for them to be any more than a professor in the university. My brother, is because of what you are passing through in the country. They're supposed to make this in random situation whereby flat rate. When the governors collecting salary and the money that is coming from revenue should not be going direct to them, because that's why there is corruption in that particular area, in that particular sector. There is corruption in the political sector, situation whereby our political office leader, they are collecting from people to enrich themselves, which is uncalled for. Imagine that level 17 in the school, in the higher institution, collecting lower than the distance when some of them may not have the houses or have a bedroom flat for them to be for themselves, because whenever they retire. So that's why when they retire, many of them normally call for pension. They should pay them retirement utility. So with this thing now, our government to do the needful to reduce the money that's going to the political leaders, officers, because of what is happening. Whenever you see things normal, you know that this is going smoothly. But the corruption has gave us many directions in the country, whereas Nigeria don't know what to go again. That's why you see that I do or die for the political affairs.
All right, Blessed.
Primary or whatever or institutional affair of politics.
Magnus from Mount 3, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah, go on, Magnus.
Very quickly, I think if we must move forward in this country, we must leave cheating. We must try to be sincere to ourselves. The government that is in charge is not sincere to the people they are serving. And that's why we are seeing all this in the country, where the local government chairman or even the councillor of a particular ward would earn more than a lecturer, a senior lecturer that is impacting knowledge. It is very pathetic. Politicians we have in this country believe that when you are in a position, you need to amass wealth, resources for yourself and for your family members, forgetting others or people that you're serving or you're ruling. Until we begin to change the trajectory of things in this country, we begin to see this. It is very pathetic, and I want to support the move, that the move is timely, that whatever it takes to make sure that this particular move succeed. I think Nigerians, 85% of Nigerians will be willing to support the move. It is very important because we cannot control this in this country, that politicians will be earning more than they are expected.
Okay.
Be traveling. Like your guest rightly said, if these monies are in the hand of civil servants bountifully, they will circulate. Money will be circulated into the society. The market women, the market will have money. The business will have money. But politicians don't spend money in this country. They go away with their money to far away other countries to spend their money. But when monies are in the hands of civil servants and people that we see money being around, so it's very important that these people.
All right, Magnus. Thank you very much. And another thing that was said by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission Chairman, Mr. Shehu, he said you cannot pay a minister less than 1 million naira per month since 2008 and expect him to put in his best without necessarily being involved in some other things. You pay either a CBN governor or the DG 10 times more than you pay the president. That is just not right. Or you pay him, the head of an agency, 20 times higher than the Attorney General of the Federation. That is absolutely not right. So don't they also think that if you don't pay a civil servant much, they wouldn't put in their best? or they might have to put their hands in something else. All of these things we are saying is aside the corruption that we have seen in the assembly. I mean, we saw the document that leaked about the constituency project and how the monies were, the amounts were varying from senator to senator, and it raised a very serious debate. I remember how much went to Senate president, and so on and so forth. We've also heard the other forms of corruption and people allegedly asking for bribe for various house committees at the assembly, minus all of the monies they make from those areas, because, well, there's absolutely no concrete evidence to prove it. But leave that aside. People then look at how much they even get as allowances. This one says, anyway, you look at the former governor as not regular personalities. They have invested to serve the state in that capacity, irrespective of the huge pension benefits for them. I'm Ernest. I'm pretty sure you have an uncle, father, mother who perhaps is a civil servant. In case you did not know, that person is also serving the state at a huge capacity. There's no difference. The difference between that person and a governor is perhaps some constitutional powers. But then the authority and the power really lies on the people. If we had a political system that functions properly. So the average civil servant is also serving the state and should be treated fairly as well, don't you think? Chima, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ifiemi.
Yes, go on, Chima.
Mr. Ifiemi, this what about the benefit of governors and president after they've left office? Is it constitutional or is it a policy?
Oh, it's constitutional, my brother. It's signed into law in many of the states and the country.
Okay, now what I want to say is that let us not forget that the politicians, when elected into office, manages the state and also the civil servants. Now, I want to believe that most of these jobs that we don't get them out of because of money. We actually get them because of passion. Just like asking a teacher in the school, why do you teach physics? Why don't you go and be an electrical engineer? That is not how this thing can be equilibrium.
So the politician that got into political office did not do it because of passion?
That's what I'm making you understand, that we that are politicians, we went into politics because of passion, not because of the money. So if you're into civil servant work because of the passion, you should not expect that the money must be equilibrium.
So how come the monies for politicians will not be bigger than the monies for civil servants if both of them went there with passion?
Yes, now how many elected politicians do you get at a time? In my whole world, we have just one councillor. In my full constituency, we have just one assembly member. In national constituency, we have just one rep. In senatorial, we have just one senate. In government, we have just one governor. One. Isn't
that? Well, Chima, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time. But then maybe another time we'll have this conversation. We have to wrap it up and go for a commercial now. But then get on social media, listen to the conversation again and drop your comments. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Hello Port Harcourt will be coming in with Jude. It's a Friday. You're going to enjoy. Trust me. Remember to also participate in one play. We're going to have that big raffle draw today and you could be the lucky winner. Good morning.
Ignatius at Giro University of Education.